Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, episode number 148. This one discussing just the newest episode of the series. You're probably thinking, Nick, why didn't you discuss yesterday? I ran out of time. Especially since I had covered 6 anime yesterday, and I didn't have time to cover the rest of the stuff that came out yesterday. Well, technically this came out on Saturday, but I was reviewing on Sunday anyways because of the new chapter manga. Okay, so this episode is called Final Performance. This is episode 126. Now, you're probably noticing some of the numbering for this particular series, some of my other ones. This is one of 3 in the whole area of over 100 episodes. This one has got the third one of these ones in this particular bracket. The highest being, I'd say it's probably Case Closed, and just behind that is Black Clover. Yep. And some of the other ones barely passed like 10 or 20, but with the exception of One Piece and Boruto, those two are almost reaching 300, while in the case of Case Closed is getting close to reaching episode 200. This one probably won't be there just yet. But in the case of this particular episode, what happens this one? Well, mostly Pui just had Mr. Compress, where he's like, oh yeah, show us peak performance. And we also see the anime debut of the 4th host of the One For All Korg, which is Danger Sense. Which I'm sure is based upon the Spider Sense from Spider-Man, because Deku is based upon Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, when he whips around the black whip, it's very similar to how Spider-Man whips around the webbing. I'm sure that he probably took a lot of inspiration. I mean, it was quite obvious the fact that this character is from Spider-Man, so throw in a lot of Spider-Man traits. Now we'll throw in the Danger Sense, aka Spider Sense. There's some bad happening. If you're curious, though, Dabi is not in the episode. If you're curious, what happened to him? Compress put in one of his balls. Yes, seriously. Compress, of course, is basically bleeding like crazy. He also, for some reason, decided to take off his mask. Yes, he's also bleeding from his side. Yeah, Harvest Light got ripped out. So, pretty much in a way, like oh, I give his peak performance, where he's the center of the Bandit King, and then he's easily taken out by Lemillion. Yeah, he's taken out really easy by Lemillion. And, of course, also, like, here's the thing. Giant Makia is down. Toga is not back yet. Dabi has been put in, I think it was Dabi and, like, one other person was put in Spinner's scarf. I think it was Skeptic, I think it was. So, basically, like, he also took his time to shed his clothing for some reason. Yeah, Mr. Compress decided to do that. And, well, he gets beaten, and, of course, he's presumed taking custody off screen. And then, of course, Spinner decided something like shocking the Saiyans. He takes out one of Todoroki's hands. Yeah, these things basically, like, one's on his face, one's on his head, his arms. The hands thing was something that was created by All For One, and the hands themselves are basically the hands of his loved ones that he accidentally killed when he was basically becoming who he is. And he puts one on and somehow activates him. Spinner, of course, is referred by his real name, which that basically takes him. That's like, really? You wrote my real name? And of course, Nemu's, but we see Bernie in the episode where she's just having a blast. And also, apparently, she's like fighting Nemu. She's also bleeding from, look like her chest. Yeah, she's from a chest wound. And still kicking. She's a freaking badass. I'm sure that, well, in case you're curious, though, I am going to meet her voice actress this weekend. Yes, I am. So, pretty much in a way. So, this guy called Master Drill. Yes, that is what this guy calls himself. He's got Drill for a hand. Drill's the creature supposedly kills him. And, of course, she goes nuts. She also bleeds from the head. Yeah, very popular in Japanese anime. Let's show basically a head wound of this stuff. Yes. Yeah, let's show her basically bleeding from that stuff for reasons. Yep. Sorry about this. I forgot to take a pill earlier. It's a cold pill, so don't worry about it. It's not like normal medicine. So pretty much like, yeah. Then All for One apparently takes up Todoroki's body and orders Nemu to all retreat. So basically, Spinner and of course Deku, who basically gets informed about the whole danger sense thing. Now, we also see a flashback in the episode. Oh, I forgot to mention here what this episode covers. I completely forgot that. Sorry about that. This episode covers basically the first 11 pages of chapter 20, pages 8 to 17 of chapter 24, and the entirety of chapter 95. And you're thinking, wait, 220. Didn't the anime ever cover this episode? Half of it. They covered. Now, the flashback here is them taking on some hideout. And, of course, about the time when League of Villains was struggling for money because, well, wait, they mentioned about the economy. Now, if you're curious, though, what about the rest of this chapter? Well, that was adapted for, well, with the exception of, I think, like 2 pages, I think it was. Yeah, except 2 pages. They adapted for an episode that came out a little over a year ago. Yeah, an episode that came out back in 2021. Yes, an episode that came out in season 4 of the show. Yes, season 4. Why in the world they decided to adapt it for this one? Maybe just express stuff related to Spinner. Yes, so pretty much in the way they proceed to try to leave. Deku tries to stop him, but he's stopped. Well, first, I think it's Lemillion. Lemillion and Shudo try to stop him, but they're basically thrown away by All for One. Then, of course, Deku, using the Black Whip from his mouth to move because he can't move his arms. Then, of course, he kind of stopped, though. He's kind of course, everyone, when Todoroki wakes up, everyone's shocked by the energy he basically is emitting. It's like a big humongous energy burst. And then, of course, I mentioned, oh yeah, the thing wasn't finished, so he proceeds to go away with Spinner. Oh, by the way, Mystic Press, yeah, they said, oh yeah, leave him behind because, well, that's what they do. Toga will be seen again, don't worry about that. And, of course, basically, Deku is taken out, and everybody's, like, all on the ground, and we see a Razorhead, I think it was, like, a Razorhead, the Dragon Hero, Ingenium is basically, actually no, not it's a Razorhead. I'm trying to think who was it, because it was Best Genius also bleeding from the mouth. Yeah, also Endeavor's basically put it here. It was I think what was his name here? Gran Torino. Yeah, Gran Torino and Riku. They're basically all doing what in wrestling terms is stretcher jobs. Yeah, they basically hauled away on a stretcher. Deku, of course, does have really bad injuries, and this basically... Now, this, of course, we're seeing toward the very end of this particular arc. We're getting really, really close to wrapping up this arc. Oh, yes, definitely. Now, by the most recent episode aired in Japan, which was episode 128, they got the chapter, let's see, I think it was, well, basically they kind of started out thinking it was 300, mostly. Yeah, but basically they actually have gotten as far as 298, plus like one piece of like 300, but I'd probably say within the next couple episodes they're going to wrap up this particular story arc. I'd say pretty soon. Now, I shall point out something interesting to know about this episode. This episode was also the final episode of Cour 1 of My Hero Academia Season 6. Yeah, I did hear they were going to split the Cours, but for some reason they decided to have the thing come out just a week after the first Cour did. And I'm like, Why the heck would you do that for? Yeah, that's something I think is kind of odd that Bones do this. Like they say, oh, we're going to split this into two cores. Now, normally cores, the way they work, is that they release like about a dozen episodes and then take about 2 or 3 month break. They come back for the next set of episodes. This one week. Yeah. So apparently the episodes airing this year are in fact like the start of Cur 2 for this season. Yeah, I have no idea why. It just odd. By the way, this episode actually aired Christmas Eve. Did you know that? Yes. If you're curious though, does Johnny Maki is kind of defeated here? Does he return after this particular? He of course basically is pretty much defeated mostly. Yeah, he's pretty much done. He pops up a few more times, and I think that his most recent appearance was in chapter 353, which came out just last year. Yeah, that was the most recent time he appeared. So he doesn't really appear all that much after basically we see here. Yep. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Just really good story arc. I gotta admit, I'm still enjoying this. We're getting very, very close. I think they're trying to stretch this out as far as they can. I mean, from episode 128, they only got to chapter 298, which means, I think as they finish after that one, they have roughly about 8 more chapters left. So, I'm thinking about 4 more episodes left to go to adapt this arc. That's given the fact they actually do, in fact, either it's going to be 4 or it's going to be about 3. Yeah, it's only going to be about 3, I'd say. By the way, this is only the 13th episode of the season. This episode, yes. But still love the episode. Can't wait for the next episode, which will air next Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so that's episode review. Next episode is going to be One Piece, and hopefully if I get time, Boruto. Okay, next video. Bye.